I think it's pretty safe to say that the future of the Star Wars franchise seems to be quite expansive when it comes to their movies, their TV shows, their books, novels, comics, and video games, and more. That's really going to make up this new Star Wars expanded universe that's going to be far larger than the old one that we received back in the 1990s and the early 2000s. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, the one thing about Disney Star Wars is that we do know that both Disney and Lucasfilm is, of course, in a phase of desperation and damage control to really get the ball rolling again and to really get Disney Star Wars back on its feet. After a lot of fans left the sequel trilogy, alright, a lot of fans saw The Rise of Skywalker, they saw The Last Jedi, and figured enough is enough, I'm done. And that's when fans just walked away and said no more. And now Disney wants to actually bring those people back into this Star Wars universe. And they're doing all of this, for starters, with The Mandalorian Season 2, with the introduction of a live-action form of Ahsoka Tano. Now, with that being said here, we do know that The Rise of Skywalker had a very messy production. This movie had a lot of issues at hand. A lot of people were very much frustrated with the movie based on how it was edited or how the story flowed. Some of you guys out there may very well love the film, you know, and that's perfectly fine and okay. I, however, like it and hate it. It's a weird emotional roller coaster. The Last Jedi, however, was a single film that derailed the franchise by director Rian Johnson. There is no doubt about that. Is that Rian Johnson really destroyed the Star Wars franchise when it came to the sequel trilogy specifically, right? There was so much potential and he really just kind of derailed it right then and there. So now that the Skywalker saga is over, both Bob Iger and Bob Chapek have been working very hard together in order to reunite the fans around the world in order to create a better and brighter future for the Star Wars franchise and for the Star Wars fandom. However, it's noted that creator George Lucas is heavily involved with fixing the Star Wars universe in order to bring back the lost Star Wars fans that were upset with The Last Jedi by Rian Johnson. Now, behind the scenes, it's described that George Lucas does not like or enjoy The Last Jedi, and viewed it as a very amateur film with many terrible mistakes, and that George Lucas wants to erase The Last Jedi, and that he has actually spoken to Bob Chapek about doing so in his own way. Now, it's explained that they are planning to create a brand new cut of The Last Jedi that would essentially erase many of Rian Johnson's mistakes and would insert some new scenes that were originally deleted by Johnson from the film, or specific small individual scenes that could very well and possibly be filmed in a short amount of time to fill it into the movie to make the time and to make the film more acceptable to fans around the world. Now, though George views this as the best way to erase the film only by adding scenes to it and changing it, it currently is the best way it's the best that they can really do, as they cannot fully dismantle an entire trilogy by leaving in only 2 films. Now, Lucas aims to create a brand new cut of The Last Jedi and dropping it on Disney Plus sometime in 2023, alongside with the JJ cut of Episode 9. And of course, it would be similar to how he changed scenes with his older films in the original trilogy, except done on a much larger scale than ever before by any creator. So here's the thing about this scenario, is that this seems like a very promising approach by George Lucas to change The Last Jedi, change a lot of scenes around, and really make it a bit more acceptable. What's a great example of changing The Last Jedi and changing some of Rian Johnson's mistakes? Well, for starters, there are editing techniques that you could absolutely do that would prevent Luke Skywalker from throwing the lightsaber over the edge of the cliff. George Lucas could easily do that, and that could very well be one of the major edits that Lucas plans to do with The Last Jedi. Now, obviously, a lot of fans had issues with this movie. I remember when I first saw this back in December of 2017, the very night that it came out. It was actually like the day before it came out, those special nights, those special screenings where you get to see it a day early. That night, I could only hear a lot of people sighing and raising their arms in the air. I could see that after watching Luke tossing the saber over the cliff. It was just so out of left field, so random, to the point where it almost felt like a parody, because people were also even laughing at it. I mean, this whole entire movie from start to finish really had a lot of issues, and I've gone over all of those issues before in the past, and I'm sure that if you guys have been around for a while, you know exactly what issues or problems I had with The Last Jedi, and it's probably very similar to yours. So when we look at George Lucas, obviously, you know, this man is the man who created Star Wars. It's his baby, and he was very unhappy, you know, that he sold it to Disney. You know, we obviously see that. And it's one of the main reasons, by the way, as to why he did not show up at the premiere of The Rise of Skywalkers, that he actually had a lot of issues with Kathleen Kennedy on set for episode 9 when visiting after she did the reshoots. He was very unhappy with how the movie turned out, very angry toward it, and wanted nothing to do with her from that point forward. Now that her creative control is out, you know, pretty much taken away, now he's back in the picture. So with that being said, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.